Bahubali costed us about 400 odd crores to make it in Telugu. And every day at about 3-4 o'clock, we used to hear some ambulance going, "Kay, kay, kay." And then all we had in our mind was, it's not me.
The dialogue is, जब तक तुम मेरे साथ हो मुझे मारने वाला पैदा नहीं हुआ from Bahubali.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Of course, I know where it's from too.
You're so cute. Aw वाली feeling आ रही है आपको देख के.
Thank you very much.
How many abs does Rana have?
I have two in my house. I have two in the Hyderabad gym. I have one in the Bombay gym. Hi guys, welcome to Scoop Whoop. This is Rana Daggubati and I am here with...
Okay. Yeah, okay, I think I'm ready.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So Rana, my introduction to what the most North Indians call the South Indian films was when I was barely like a year old. And my parents took me to watch Roja, which was a Tamil film. What I remember is growing up with a very stereotypical view of South Indian movies. Right, until one day my father just forced me to go and watch something called Bahubali. And I had no clue at that time what it was. And I went in and I'm just sitting there staring at the screen and I'm just like, is this real? And today I'm here and the only thought that's going through my head right now is this real?
Fully. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, do you think Bahubali changed the way the rest of India views South Indian movies?
I mean, not really. I mean, yes, of course, in that sense. But what Bahubali really did was, I mean, whether it's from the south, whether it's from the north, wherever it is from, right? It's still a story that captures somewhere what the essence of India is. It's a story that's I remember when Rajamouli was first starting to write it and put this whole thing together, we said, where is this film happening, right? And when is this film happening? When is this story happening? So we were like, okay, somewhere after the Ramayana and before the Mahabharata, there was a kingdom called Mahishmati right in the center. So Bahubali and Balal Dev will be as strong, if not stronger than Arjuna and Bhima and Duryodhana. They would not be as powerful as Rama was. So that was the time that, and that's Indian. That's fully encapsulating what India is, right? I'm saying whether you're a North Indian, Ram stays Ram to you, Ram stays Ram to me. He stays that. But it's, and what Bahubali did was, it was like the Star Wars effect, right? What Star Wars did to the world at one point, where when I was 7th or 8th grade, when I saw Star Wars for the first time, I didn't even know it was a movie. Like it just looked like, okay, now that's what happens outside this universe, and I bought it because I think that's what happened to that film here. Like when it did so well in India, it did all of that, and I remember going last year, I think, to Comic-Con in Japan. Now I was just excited to be at Comic-Con because it was Comic-Con Japan, and they were just calling me there. Now they told me there was about 150 people who were going to come and see us. So I was like, that's a lot of Japanese people in one shot, right? But there were 1,500 people who came in. Now, the beauty of those 1,500 people was, forget main characters like Bahubali, myself, Kattappa, Shivagami. All of the secondary characters in the film, I mean, there are about, say, at least about 40 or 50 secondary characters of support. All of them had masks of all of those people. So they were actually playing that whole film out. See, here to us, this guy is the hero, that guy is the bad guy. We have some kind of logic to it, right? There, they didn't have any of that. They saw it purely as a film, straight up, and it kind of evoked them. I think that's really what storytelling does. See, it breaks boundaries. Politics kind of divides, but art unites, right? Roja united us at some form. So it's a Tamil film. It's so does Bahubali. I'm saying it doesn't matter where the filmmaker really comes from. It's ultimately the story that cuts across. See, look at Avengers, right? It's a bunch of white people made that film. All of India's woken up
crazy.
Happily. There you go.
Exactly. Okay, do we want him to sit in the...
I can stare at the master.
I won't appreciate that.
Sound check, 1, 2, 3. Sometimes the beard comes in between the mic, so you just have to keep going lower and lower. Yeah. It works now? Okay. Can you hear this?
So Rana, you happen to belong to one of the most illustrious families, film families in the country. What was it like growing up when you were constantly surrounded with movies, this environment you were in? How did that shape you?
Well, it's fun. It's fun that I'm here today, and it's also my granddad's 83rd birth anniversary.
Happy
And
birthday.
great that you asked me this at this point. But that was really growing up for me, right? He was actually a farmer who decided to make films, moved to a city called Madras, and back then there was no Telugu, Tamil. Everything was Madras Presidency when the British kind of were there. When then after the regional divide happened, that's when he moved to Hyderabad. Now when he moved to Hyderabad, I was very young. I was I think about 10 years old or 8 to 9 years old. That's when film really, he bought a big property, started building a film studio in the middle of rocks, right?
Yeah.
So it was actually I was party to a bunch of really cool visionary people who came and wanted to create an ecosystem of cinema for the first time ever in a place that was just barrel rock. And today flourishes as a super film industry. So I think I've somewhere grown to see all of this. So when we moved to Hyderabad, the funniest was, so we needed a place to shoot films, right? So so my granddad built a house. On top of is where we stayed, in the bottom is where shootings happened.
So you had the set at the bottom.
Yeah, so there were shootings happening every single day of my life. So I walk down, I eat breakfast, and then on the film set, and I leave to school. So that really was.
Quite a life.
So I mean, so to me that was life, and all of the others were things that people did, right? And that's how I grew up, and I continue to do the same thing. So the basement of my house had a steam back editing system, and which at that time everything was film, right? So
Yeah.
I think 5th or 6th grade is when I started learning that stuff. So I think I was around this at all times. I was there in the VHS era, I was there in the LD era, to the DVD, to now in the cloud.
So you grew with
So
it.
yeah, I grew with all of this, and that's made me who I am, and I still continue doing all of what I did when I was a kid. So
Did you hop on the camera sometimes and actually sit on the steam deck and
I
like,
don't know. I'm
edit,
sure I would have done many crazy things.
splicing film?
Yeah, splicing I did for a very
did
long
that?
time. Yeah, very long time. That was a summer job. I mean, most of
Yeah.
all the kids in the house who now run the companies and things like that were actually doing summer job either in an editing room, either
Here this
in
is
a
like-
DTS theater, because all of them were being built. See, my first summer job really was when I was at school. I used to write accounts in a lab because in the film laboratory. Because my mom used to run the
You've
lab.
done everything in the
As in, see, I didn't
business.
study, right? See, I wasn't
Yeah.
studying well in school. I didn't like anything. I was failing in all subjects. But I failed 10th grade. So I'm saying nothing was going in that direction. So I used to like movies. I used to like comic books. I used to figure out how to work in the environment that was in front of me.
What was it like? Like, what went through your head when you looked at this legacy that you had to take forward? What was all that
See, when
pressure
you're a kid, you won't think that much. I liked Star Wars and I said, Acha, this is what I want to do. Okay, my parents are also doing the same job. Let me figure out this and start. Right? It was not so much more complicated than that.
But growing up, didn't you like want to be an actor? Because weren't you
I wanted to make movies. See,
weren't you
that's-
like starstruck? You were around all these stars,
No, yeah,
acting in your basement.
Not at all. See, because I grew up in an era where vanity was not around. It was a struggle to make a movie. See, there were a bunch of theatre producers who technology backed them and they started making something called cinema that day, right? Today it's a huge business where we talk about AO and all of these starstruck. Back then it was a struggle. It was bad to be in the movies. It was bad to be an actor. Women were not allowed to be in the movies. Well, it was a bad place. I came from there, right? And today we call it cool, shul and all that, but I still continue. I mean, see, vanity doesn't do anything really in this film business. What does vanity do? It's a great marketing tool when a product is coming out.
It is, yeah.
Apart from that, it really doesn't do much, right? So I'm really fascinated with movies as a whole. I like storytelling as a whole. I like big spectacle stuff. So I'm able to be part of those kind of things now also.
But do you think you were just surrounded with all this, so it was easy for you to slip into the business? Because like a lot of outsiders these days, you see, it's really difficult for them to come in and establish their careers. And a lot of star kids or like kids from like film families kind of have it easy. A lot of times they get easier,
I'll tell you
more
what,
opportunities.
when I go to Bombay or North India per se, in the sense of things, right? There's this huge talk about nepotism and these guys do this, those guys do that. But that's like a fact with anything in this world, right? Now there's no film school in India that is going to make you a great filmmaker. No chance. Today, we don't have one. We don't have one at the size of UCLA. We don't have one at the size of Tisch. We don't have the size of USC. We don't have AFIs here. Those are bringing great filmmakers every day.
Yeah.
Now, how do you learn here, right? And how did I learn? I learned because I was at home. I learned like if your father ran a chemical factory, you just know how that chemical factory works.
Yeah.
If my father my mother ran a film laboratory, so I knew how a film laboratory worked. My uncle was an actor, so I knew how that worked, right? So it's pretty simple for in that sense to take it. But today it's not there at all. Today if you're really talented, you can make a film on YouTube and you'll have 1 billion people watching it. Clearly.
Definitely.
So where
But you think the big like positions are taken by the film families, and there's no way to
because
move them out?
they figured a process to it. They figured a process to it, a method to it, saying here you go, these will be, and they're in it, right?
Yeah.
See, if you say take an actor like Mahesh Babu, who was a very big star in Telugu.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him for the actor that he is today. He's a big star, but he's been acting from when he was in summer holidays in school. He used to go to 2 months summer holidays in school. He was shooting in Ooty, and then he finished his studies, and he continued to become an actor. So I think these are things you do for life, right? See, for us, it's not a lifestyle. It is life. This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is what we do. This is who we are, and that's the world that we've created. But yes, 100% for somebody in the inside, it's far easier because the knowledge base is higher. And there is no reason for anybody from the outside to pick up and say, here you go, I'm going to train in all of these skills and come back. And you'll have a walk in the film business.
Yeah. I mean, you trained well. A lot of them don't, right? And they still keep getting those chances.
I'll give you an example. Hrithik Roshan was in an editing room. He used to manage editing rooms with Rakesh Roshan. How many people know that? See,
How many?
Not many, right? Ajay Devgan used to do all the stunts with his dad, which is
Yeah.
why I understand stunt today. So all of these big stars have done a big body of work, which is not the ones that you see today. See, what you see today is what comes through the media, and the sense of the media is also so skewed, right? But ultimately, the guy who makes it to the top, who stays at that top, is the one with a lot of skill. Whether the skill came through family, whether the skill came through learning, it's a skill that needs to be there, right? If you're in a family, you just get that, you know where to stand, and you know where where to which fight to pick, right?
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
that initial access.
Correct, but after that, everybody's in the same place. See, because what are they doing? What's the audience doing? You're calling them to a theater, shutting the lights off, and you're saying, here you go, watch this movie.
Yeah.
So you're not competing with anybody, you're not doing anything, you're just telling a story, right? That's what it is. Swap the chairs? I see, are you fucking serious?
It's okay if I fall?
No, they're saying you hold that weight. What school came on?
What's that?
Okay, cool. Sorry. Alright, I'm not moving.
Oh my god, this is scary.
I did that, sorry.
Okay, let's go in for an audience question.
Alright, and that's how it pops up, the audience question. Hello. You're the audience?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Okay.
Huh.
Anyway, so I'm going to just test your nerd cred a little bit.
Okay.
So what's your favorite comic?
What's my favorite comic? Wow, it's a tough one to answer, but Hanuman from Amar Chitrakatha.
Okay, who do you like better, Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Okay, and forget the comics, but who do you think would win or should win among the two?
Among the two?
Yeah.
First, I don't think they're supposed to protect the earth. I don't know what they're doing fighting amongst themselves. I have a problem with that first.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now who's your favorite superhero among these white guys?
Among the
Like
white
the
superheroes.
white
You don't want
guys.
Hanuman
Yeah,
in there?
no.
Okay. I used to I liked Batman before. I liked Captain America a lot. All of this was there. But what they did was, a couple of years ago, they asked me to dub for Thanos in Telugu. And after I dubbed for Thanos, because Thanos somewhere doesn't even look like a real person, he kind of looks like me. As you keep dubbing, you feel like that guy looks like you. So I think Thanos became the guy I liked. And I feel like I played him also in my head. Thanos would be the guy.
Okay. So, my next question doesn't make sense then. So, I guess. So, apart from Thanos, who would you play? Which villain would you play?
Darth Vader.
Okay. Okay, cool. I think I've got whatever I needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so after everything that you were doing already in the Telugu film industry, you were offered this monumental character to play of Bhalal Dev and Bhalala Deva in Telugu. How was that?
Well, it started very strangely. It started actually many years ago when Rajmouli first called a bunch of us to his room and said, "This is what I'm trying to make," right? And he didn't tell us the story of the film because he didn't have a story at that point. He showed us a map of this kingdom called Maheshmati. This kingdom that had mountain ranges on 3 sides and a water drop on one side. The water drop that looked like from the ground, it looked like water is coming from the skies. And people from down there never went up to this mountain or vice versa. And then started telling us about the scale of what Maheshmati is, right? The scale of each of these characters. Then came Bhalal Deva, the character. I still remember Vijayendra Prasad was his father, the writer of the film. Said, so they made one scene, a scene which is actually not in the film, but just to write what that character was, right? It's a story of when Bhalal Deva was crowned king. He says there's an evil tyrant king, Bhalal Deva, who stands on his terrace looking at a 110-foot golden statue of himself. Under the statue, there are about 100 men standing under that statue. Because he never believed in God, but he liked the idea of deityhood, with him being the deity. He liked the power to give a life or take one away. And just before the statue falls, he leaves the 100 men out. And the statue comes in. So that was who this guy was. And I said, this is me. I said, so let's do this.
So you picked the role?
No, not really picked the role, but so that's what was
I'll
offered.
take that one.
And it was, I said, no, he's just trying to create something really large. It was, see, this is stuff I read in comic books, this is stuff I heard as tales, this is stuff I watched in international cinema.
Yeah.
I was like, here you go, there's a filmmaker here, there's a team here who's actually willing to put all this together and said, we said, let's take the next 2 years and make this film, and that's how it started. But in 2 years, we got only like some 20% of the film done, and it took 5 years.
Why was that? Why was
Well,
it such a...
why? Because I guess the scale of what he had written, the minute we had to translate it back, nobody ever did this, right? I mean, we were doing this for the first time. Nobody's ever shot a war before in India.
Yeah.
We're shooting that for the first
In
time.
that scale, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you an episode which went on for about 2 months, I think, or 2.5 months. Is the War of Part 1, where do you remember the Black Army from Bahubali, the Kalakers? So first they decided there's going to be a tribe, called them the Kalakers, and then wrote a language for them. We actually had a 25-page dictionary of what they spoke. Nimda, all of that actually makes something. So it's phonetic that turns into singular, plural, all of these basic grammar, and that's what these guys followed. Now, we had about 5,000 people on set,
Oh my God.
out of which 2,500 people were on cast and crew. The others were just pure support staff, right? We had ambulances, we had namaz rooms, because that's what we were doing, right, for a couple of months. And every day at about 3-4 o'clock, we used to hear some ambulance going, "Kay, kay, kay." And then all we had in our mind was, it's not me. That's it, right? Because we were doing something really huge. And I mean, there were people coming to look at it as if it was like an
It was
amusement
a-
park or something,
yeah.
right? I remember there was a bunch of actors who were working in Ramoji, who were coming back film after film, because they were coming for different films, and we would still, me and Prabhas were on the horses walking around, right? So, but yeah, that memory will always be fun. That's like going to film school for 5 years. That's like understanding everything that you know today. That's
So
irreplaceable.
how difficult was it preparing for Bhalal Dev's character? I mean, I'm sure it was taxing to alter your body. First you played the younger self and then the older, right?
That is a lot of taxing body. Yes, I didn't realize that's how much it takes. But
What went into its making?
one first thing is because like I said earlier, it was just the story that we had. First, it was actually one film that we were trying to make, but it ended up on script looking like a very long film, and that's not what we wanted. Then we took a break before starting actually, and so Rajmouli was sitting with a bunch of writers and was trying to develop a 2-part version to this. Right, that's how part 1 and 2 came by.
That's after it was already started?
Yeah, after it started.
Oh,
so
wow.
then Prabhas and I had about, I think, 5 or 6 months, a good 6 months to just train. We didn't do anything else. We were eating 8-9 meals a day. We were lifting 2 or 3 times a day. We were doing theatre class. We were doing readings, and that's all we did for about 6 months. And I think that prep kind of got us to through these 5 years, right? We all kind of believed in the same vision. We knew exactly what we were supposed to do. We were getting excited each time it was getting built. Otherwise, holding on to 5 years is a very difficult thing.
But what
on a
kept that
single-
belief going?
Like I'm saying, for each one, right? I'm saying for an actor, it's like I was walking on that set and saying, I'm doing this for the first time ever on celluloid. Nobody has ever done this. Nobody has ever picked up this mace. Nobody has ever ridden this chariot. All of them were new, right? I'm saying, what else would you want as an actor? You want to do things for the first time and you want to show the world, right?
Yeah.
And I got to do all of it.
But what was your relation like with Prabhas and Rajamouli sir?
See, I mean, that film, like every film, you kind of make a set of friends because you work together, you're there for a very long period of time and stuff. But this film, you made a family, right? Because all of you were going in this together. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, we're in this together and we're making something solid. I mean, now today, post Bahubali's success, I mean, everything sounds very different. Now, during the release of part 1, I'll forget part 2 for a minute, right? There was part 1 that happened. It released 1 week before a big Salman Khan film in Bombay, Bajrangi Bhaijaan, released a week before that, which is incidentally also written by the same writer who wrote Bahubali, Rajmouli's father. So we knew that it was a terrific film that's sitting there. We knew the entire story, but we didn't have any other date, right? Now, while we were making this film, the producers had already borrowed over 190 odd crores on interest. So it's not a studio funding you, it's not cash that's coming. So it's straight borrowed money that's in there. And we said, all of us, that's a Telugu film at that point, right?
After all.
It's still a Telugu film for all practical purposes. It's a bunch of Telugu actors, Telugu film, Telugu director. Well, we took that leap of faith. We're like, here you go. If you watch spectacle, it breaks all barriers. I mean, Prabhas and I looked the part. All of the characters in the film look the part that they're supposed to play. We're like, that's really all that we need. And we went ahead. That was the real leap of faith, right? So that emotion of holding success, failure, it was even bigger than that, right? I'm saying you don't know what's coming. You don't know how big the success or failure would be.
Yeah.
That's a very strange spot to sit. I think that kind of held us all together, and it was so fun because everything was happening for the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you remember some fun incident
Everything.
from that set?
I mean, everything, yeah. Everything was fun. I mean, you were breaking legs, we were breaking shoulders, we were flying off chariots, the chariots were breaking halfway in the air, and I mean, all kinds of crazy things happened, right?
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes, so we did something very interesting during the war, during part 1. We said, no, it's going to be very complex to shoot it. Let's just shoot it in winter, so we'll be fine, right? Because of all of these armories and all that. So we finished the rehearsal for the entire war, and we started shooting it. 10 days into the war, I injured my MCL, and I was down. Luckily, it was a tear, and I didn't need anything beyond it. So it was about 4-6 weeks. I was back on the field with a crutch. So I could stand and move in the chariot, but I couldn't actually walk around. So everything that's static that you see was with a crutch on it. So I was just made to stand. I said, just stand and perform. You don't have to do anything, right? Now I just got in there, and I think I shot for a week. Prabhas injured his shoulder halfway through, and he had a surgery. So he was out for a month and a half, or actually a little more than that. At that point, we're like, okay, now what do we do, right? I'm saying Prabhas is not there, I'm not there, both are gone. And it kind of broke that schedule up. And we ended up shooting in summer. In the heat of summer, because we had to get the film done, right? Now, that was very, very hard. You're talking about 48 degrees heat, you're talking about Hyderabad, right in Ramoji Film City, no tree, nothing. It's just barren land, 4,000-5,000 people somewhere there, and it's literally a war. Right? So, I mean, that's wild. Going through that every day was wild.
Okay, we're going to go in for another audience question.
Yes, please.
Hi.
Hi.
When you look back at Bahubali series, what do you think you could improve or change?
See, when you look back at anything that you've done, right, you will always be able to correct it because it's always very easy to correct it once it's made, right? Now you can go back, there'll be many things that you do. In part one, there'll be a bunch of things that you'd correct. Part two, I guess, is a much better film that we also understood how to make a better film by the end of it. But what would you change? I mean, it gets into a completely nitpicking exercise, but that's the case with everything, right? If I had a chance, I'd probably change everything that I did so far.
Okay, one more thing I want to say that you are like you're so cute. Oh, वाली feeling आ रही है आपको देख के.
Thank you very much. Thank you for you to have found my cuteness within this weird and jungly look of mine, but thank you very much.
So clearly, Bahubali was a massive success, and you have some amazing fan
Thank you.
following.
Thank you.
And like with all the love that you've gotten for the film and everything else, do you think you get a lot of hate as well? Like your lives are out there on social media. Everyone's like really
one is
accessible
what
now.
people think is really not my problem, it's theirs. No?
How do you deal with the trolls every day?
I don't
you see
care.
something.
Hey,
it's
listen,
like-
I don't care that much. See, when you will care when you have 5-6 people to react to. When you have 4-10 million people to react to, you won't even care. Because see, ultimately those 4-10 people want that millions of people who are following you, right? They want content.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that well. I'm making great movies and I'm going to keep giving them constantly. What they think of me, what you think of me is... Which world are we in, boss?
You just keep doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. What we have next is this segment where we pull out questions from the internet, and it's called Internet Wants to Know.
Okay.
Right? So I'm just going to ask you.
Basically, you guys saying that, right? Write a bunch of questions and say
we
it's
might
from the
have
internet.
cheated, but
Go on, shoot.
okay. What is Rana's bicep size?
Now it will be some very little. I haven't eaten salt in like 5 months or something.
Yeah.
So now I have to play a guy who looks like I've been in a jungle for 20 years now. I can't look like Balal Dev and go into it, right? And then, I don't know if you all know, in between I played a character of Chandrababu Naidu, the CM of Andhra, the ex-former CM of Andhra Pradesh. And there I had to look like him, right? So I was like, okay, now I can't look like anything else. So that's where it is. So now I don't even know it. And for many people who think I go to the gym regularly, it's not at all. So that film needed me to go there, and it took for 5 years, so people just assumed that that's what I do. After that film, I never went to the gym again. I think I went once or twice, I think. Just because I was not
But
doing
what was
it.
the number then? I think they want numbers.
I don't know. I mean, you went because some friend of yours is there, not, and you trained a little bit since you know how to train, right? Now when you get done with this film, if the other film requires it, then I go back and start looking like how I must look. That's the fun part of the job, not going every day and working out.
Okay. Were Rana's armpits photoshopped in Bahubali?
Armpits Photoshop or arms Photoshop? No, nothing was really
People
Photoshop.
really want to know weird things
These are
from you.
strange people. Why are these strange people? No, it is not Photoshop. Photoshop you use on a poster, not on a film, you dumb idiot. Go on, next. Yeah, I say things to people on the internet like this. It's okay.
Okay.
That guy who asked this question deserves this. Go on, next.
How much protein does Rana take? Okay, these are like these gym freaks are asking all these questions.
these are during Bahubali, I used to eat about 8 to 9 meals. That means it used to be about 4,000 to about 4,500, about 4,000 calories a day. And protein, I can't remember, but it was almost 1 kilo, like 1 gram of body weight, and that's usually what it was. So about 100 grams of protein a day, for sure, were going in. Yeah, lots. I used to only
like,
eat
I
a lot.
weigh that much.
Yeah.
Okay. How many abs does Rana have?
How many abs? I have 2 in my house. I have 2 in the Hyderabad gym. I have 1 in the Bombay gym. So whenever I have a film, I just collect all of them, put it on me, and I'll start shooting.
Can Rana speak Hindi?
I act like I can speak Hindi.
Can you act for us, please?
Yeah, go on, say a line.
जब तक तुम मेरे साथ हो मुझे मारने वाला पैदा नहीं हुआ मामा
That was so bad.
We'll sync and do it. Go on, do it again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your timing? Go on.
Can you make it shorter?
No, let's go with this. No, this is the fun part. Give me the zoom, sync your timing. Tell me your time and I'll lip sync to it.
The dialogue is जब तक तुम मेरे साथ हो मुझे मारने वाला पैदा नहीं हुआ from Bahubali.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course, I know where it's from too. Thanks.
Okay. 1, 2, 3 and action.
I'll tell you how it's said in Telugu.
Okay.
నువ్వు నా పక్కనుండగా నన్ను చంపే మగాడింకా పుట్టలేదు మామా. That's how it's said. So that's how it's said in Telugu. That's the timing of it.
Okay.
So say that
So I'll
in the
try.
same timing.
जब तक तुम मेरे साथ हो मुझे मारने वाला पैदा नहीं हुआ मामा. Something like this.
Okay,
That's
we
how it
got it.
So I don't really say it. I lip it. And then we come
Okay.
back to a dubbing theater and go, ma, okay. Sir, ma, okay, ma. But
Sounds
that's
like a
re-
very easy process.
So yeah, but that's really what we do to get to another language.
How many push-ups can you do?
Could I do? Can I do? Based on that, I'll answer. I could do a lot. I don't know if I can do because I haven't done it in a couple of years. So I was at this show once, and I think it was Femina Miss India type show, one of those Miss India, Mr. India type shows, where it had a bunch of teens, right, boys, girls, and stuff like that, who in Bombay, and me and Akshay Kumar had to go and judge it. Now there, and that time I was in full mode. I was in full Bahubali mode. I was like this, and everybody assumed I go to the gym all day, and that's what I do. Now on that stage, they made me do push-ups that day with all these other guys, right? Now these are all kids who are 18, 19, and I'm some 30 years old. And I just got a body. It's not like I had it all my life. I just got it like a few months back. So I was like, now can I work with, and these guys are super fit. They've been fit from, the one kid is doing karate from 6 years old. So I was like, okay, boss, these guys are really, really strong. Now you're on stage, you don't want it to go wrong. And I started doing push-ups. I had no clue of what number was going on. I kept on going. I remember it was about 10 or 15 and one guy fell, right? And then suddenly I was like, okay, one kid fell. I am looking at the other. 10 more later, another guy fell. I had up till about, I think, 40 or 50, at the 45. Everybody fell. And then I just did 5 more. God, like my chest was sore. I couldn't move. But I just got up. I smiled. I was sweating inside. I just said 1 or 2 words. It just sounded like a cool guy and left. Fast.
Things you do to sell your movies.
Yeah. But I was happy that day I could get done with all of those. I was fully informed.
You actually became a household name after this film. How did you take all that fame? Did it like change you?
No, I mean, it just gives us a license to make whatever films we want now. I'll give you an example, right? I made while I was filming for Bahubali, I was also trying to put a project called the Ghazi Attack together. It was a submarine war film. Now, when I was trying to put that film in Telugu, it's a submarine film that's got, it's got Taapsee too. Luckily, because Taapsee was free that time, she just played a cameo in it, and just for me to make it feel like there's a girl in that film. But really has very little character to play. It's a film that happens in a sub. It's not like it's war where people are fighting either. It's on a command phone, only missiles go up and down. Now, that works for me. I grew up on Hunt for Red October, Crimson Tide, all of them work for me, right? I just wanted to make a film in equivalent to that. And I found a true story which was there, and I thought it was a really cool story. Sankalp was the director who came by.
Yeah.
Now I had no buyers for it. Nobody wanted to invest money in it. It worked on a bare basis that I said I will take 50% of what I normally charge. I will go everything on back end, and the cost of production will be 50% or less than what my normal productions would be. Like, that's the only reason I got to roll out, right? Now today I don't have to do all those things.
Yeah.
I want to make a submarine film, you're like, you have a great story, we can go ahead and make it. So life has gotten much simpler and easier because, and also I think after that wave of Bahubali and also where cinema has gone by itself, it's taken a storytelling route forward. Now content is king, very, very clearly, that's what one wants to watch.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good time for all of us.
So you worked in different industries in India, like you said. What difference did you see between?
I was just
especially
amazed at how dumb Indians are about the other state. Ultimately, it's a camera, it's a story, it's a bunch of actors. You put it here, it's the same format, right? I could speak in Telugu, it becomes a Telugu film. Speak in English, it becomes an English film. That's exactly what happens. Correct?
Yes, but
Anywhere in the world. But we have in our heads made this is an industry, that's an industry. This is a Telugu industry. What does it make films? This is a Tamil industry. What does it make films? How different is it?
But weren't
But
there
the guys
any-
that are crossing over are completely crossing over. Rajinikanth is making films in all languages. They're dubbing in all languages. Avengers is dubbing in all languages. So which means it's clear that there's actually no boundary to this unless you make one.
But didn't you see any like difference in the processes and how?
See, ultimately, the source is the same. See, if you see the older lot in Bombay or the older lot in anywhere in India, I mean, see, most sources came from what Vijayawani Studios or RK Studios back then. So the fundamentals of films and the way things are constructed is pretty similar. Now in Bombay and Bollywood more because the rise of the corporate has been much higher, and that being the financial capital of India, all of them first land up there. Saying the same thing, but that same system is very, very cost effective in South India because it's not overpowering on the other systems. It's the talent is much more cost efficient. The films there are much more. See, like Bahubali costed us about 400 odd crores to make it in Telugu.
Yeah.
Now, if we were in Bombay, we would have costed 600. Right? It would have. See, that's the real advantages over these industries. See, Ghazi, I made at a budget of about 15 crores by the end of that product in Telugu. In Bombay, it would have been a 30 crore film or a 40 crore film. It wouldn't have gotten done without it.
Yeah.
So just that cost efficiencies are managed in different places differently, like any BPO business, right? I'm saying you have a BPO in the middle of Delhi, it's one cost. If you have it somewhere else, it's another cost, right?
Yeah. Okay, we'll go in for another audience question.
So, do you think there's a still difference between Indian CGI and Hollywood CGI?
Of course, 100%. See, America has aided itself quite well in a sense where technology came to the aid of filmmakers about 70, 80 years ago. Like in the 1970s was the first time that happened during Star Wars in the 1977, right? When a bunch of engineers, technology people said, let's start creating magic on the movies. And they made a company called Industrial Light and Magic. And that's when that really started. So they kind of have a 100-year head start over us
Yeah.
in that tech. Like a film like Avengers, a film like any of these big spectacle films are made by a system that has been organized by companies like Disney. So they've kind of created that system where when tech comes in, it's almost they run it like an IT company, a creative IT company. And who were the big bosses running that place at one point? Pixar was the heart of Disney's animation. What is that? That's a company that's run by Steve Jobs, picked it off ILM. The best in terms of technology processes. So we have enough filmmakers, we have enough storytellers, we have enough people learning that craft better. What we really need is an influx of people who know technology, people who know artificial intelligence, people who are actually in that field. I mean, those are the people that we're looking at as an influx into the movies, and then the movies will really change.
Yeah. Once you're there, that's going to change, right?
Well, if I sit in the next job, will be running a school.
Okay, so we're going to play another game where we have dialogues of all these anti-heroes. I'm not going to call them villains, right? And you have to say them as Bhalal Dev would say them.
Okay.
So if you could just pick one and just
Okay, let's go.
start the show.
Okay, the line here is I will make him an offer he can't refuse, right? Ballal Dev would have killed him. Offer doesn't work there. True.
Yep.
He won't say that line for sure.
We all agree.
Mugambo Kushwa. I said it like Mugambo also, no? What would Ballal Dev say it like? No. It's not his line, right?
Okay, just say Bhalal Dev Kushwa, you know.
Ballal Dev Kushwa. But not fun. Not fun. The earlier one was fun. This is like French to me. I don't even understand. It's for you. Say it and I'll say the Telugu version of it.
आंखें निकालकर गोटियां खेलूंगा
कल्लू पी के घोड़े बिल लाड़ता Why so serious? Let's put a smile on that face. Ballal Dev is only serious, so he doesn't put a smile on anyone's face first. So he would do. And why so serious would have been with a hack. Like you would say, why so serious? And the big chainmail ball would have come on somebody's head and that head would have gone flying. So that's Ballal Dev for you.
Say it.
There's no saying it, it's just, why so serious? Boom. अरे ओ सांबा कितने आदमी थे Because I just feel like Balal Deva is too much, far more powerful than all these guys. He's from a different era. It's like, see, I'll tell you what it feels like. I'm saying now, if you take Bhima and Duryodhana and say, tell me dialogues of Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh, it doesn't work,
We're
right?
trying to see how versatile Balal is.
Balal Deva is not very versatile. He's just there. He just finishes, does his job, wants his kingdom. Brother is there in the way, kill the brother. Somebody else is there in the way, kill that fellow. And he gets the throne. That's all he wants, right? He's one straight agenda he's got.
Okay, how about you just say your own like dialogue that you like
I
to,
know so many times.
something that you like to tell everyone today.
I did something strange yesterday, which I'm going to do it again. Like I get this often, right? Say the line of Bahubali. I'm like, so it's not like it'll come on the spot. Then back then there was all of this going on. So I was on a stage with a lot of kids and I said, okay, let's do this. I was in Delhi, right? So I said, I'm going to say this line in Tamil, not even in Telugu. In Tamil, I said, pick which dialogue and understand from that dialogue where it came from and which part of Bahubali it is. All of you all have seen Bahubali, it's just in another language. So let me go like this. The line goes, உன் விசுவாசத்தை நினைத்து பார்க்கும் போதெல்லாம் எனக்கு ஆச்சரியமாக இருக்கிறது கட்டப்பா என்னைய கொள்ள வேண்டிய என்ன வன்மம் உன்னுக்குள்ள இருப்பதை நான் அறிவேன் ஆனால் உன் உயிரை கொடுத்து என்னை காப்பாற்றுகிறாய் வேடிக்கையாக இல்லை. That's Ballal Deva to Kattappa. So where would this happen? What is it?
It is that scene where you kill the ox.
There you go, bang on. Nicely said. See, it's fun.
Okay, so thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very, very much.
We had a lot of fun, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Done, games over?
No, we have to. Yeah, the game's over.
Okay.
But we have to do a CTA. Okay.
What is that?
I'll just thank you now, and then you can.
You don't have to
do
thank
that,
me,
and then
it's
I
good.
can thank you again. How's
We don't
that?
have to, we can just leave.
Okay, so you just have to say if you like this video, like,
First,
share, subscribe.
we all like it, which is why we are here. Okay, so I'm supposed to say to you
That camera.
So we all like this video. We love being here. I had a great time with all of you guys. Thank you very much. If you guys also want to see what happened here, please like this video and share it.
And subscribe to Scoop Poop Unscripted.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
I like how this ended, right?